What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Counter Cause. We are joined by my buddy, Mason Musso. Mason is a singer, songwriter, musician, lover of all things good. What's up, brother?
How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on, dude. This
Yes.
is fun.
Thank you.
How's life?
It's good. Gosh, last time I saw you,
Yeah, it was
I
like
had a
2.5 years ago, I
kid
think,
then.
right?
I just had my kid, so I've been doing a lot of that, doing a lot of dad life.
Yeah.
He's 2.5 now. I think you saw him right when he was born. Last time I saw you.
2.5,
So
man. Dad life at 2.5 is it's the real
he's
deal.
in the terrible twos right now. He's screaming at me, telling me no, and I'm like, who is this guy? You know, but it's awesome. It's great.
Yeah. What's he into?
Cars, trucks,
Okay.
ambulances,
Yeah.
fire trucks.
Music at all at that age? Do you get any like inclination?
He
and
sings,
stuff?
but he doesn't like it when I play guitar. He's
Interesting.
like, no, daddy. No, daddy.
Interesting.
He wants me to play. You know, he wants me to play.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, you are currently living in Los Angeles still,
Mhm. Santa Monica, yeah.
Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
How is that?
It's nice. It's got a lot of problems though. It can be dangerous at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, it's like it is beautiful. You know,
I wanted to ask you because you have been rather outspoken on political things.
Have I?
Yeah, a little bit, and I love it, man. I mean, we all do. But I did want to ask you,
Yeah.
like, if you're seeing or if you have seen kind of a shift in tone, you know, generally in LA, like, is everybody kind of up in arms about the election? Is it a little bit more welcoming this time? How is
I
it?
haven't been back to LA since the election, but I will say with my group, with people I know, I've only had one person ever tell me, and it's not like I've ever said anything pro Republican or Trump or
Yeah.
pro Kamala or pro Biden. The only thing I do is like, I think cultural stuff is way more important than directly engaging in politics for me.
Yeah, sure.
So like I'll do stuff like I attend Turning Point USA events.
Oh, cool,
I've
man.
been doing that since like 2017.
Yeah.
Awesome organization
Yeah.
run by Charlie Kirk, some of
Yeah.
the nicest, greatest people.
Yeah. Very cool.
I've done a bunch of interviews with the media outlet Epoch Times.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I think they're they are very anti CCP, the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah.
And usually my conversations are never really political. They're always like cultural issues like free speech and the cancel culture thing and all that
Yeah.
kind of
So
stuff.
what is
Yeah.
that? What's that like? What stresses and challenges do you face living in that area, trying not to conform to the patterns of LA?
Especially with my scene, it was always about being like, not that I'm like punk or anything, but like this punk rock mentality of like, you can say whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
No, you shouldn't be canceled for what you believe in. But for whatever reason, the liberals have forgotten that. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can't
It gets
rage
weird,
against
right?
the machine anymore, right?
No, you got to
No.
rage for the machine.
You gotta rage
You gotta
for the
rage
machine.
for the
Halliburton
machine.
and
Yeah.
and Pfizer.
It's crazy how it took a 180, right?
Mm.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I don't know
So
why
punk
that
rock.
happened. I still really consider myself a liberal to a certain point.
Yeah.
But the liberals are now, in my opinion, like I said, anti-free speech.
The opposite of liberalism.
Not really
Yeah,
for
right.
not really for the working class.
Mhm.
I feel like, especially with a lot of the celebrity endorsements that we've seen lately, people should be able to do whatever they want to do, but it's like just crapping on the working class people, poor people.
Yeah.
It's like they don't, for people that were like, I don't know. I mean, they're pretty much openly like socialists now. It's like that doesn't really work there because
Yeah.
you're not really for the working people at all. Which if you say that's what socialism is, in my opinion, it doesn't really lead to
Yeah,
that.
you're
It
right.
leads to, like
It's,
death.
it's kind
No,
of like
agreed.
it's like they're more targeting the 1%, and then the
Yeah.
working class is
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suffering because of it.
is
And the hard part is that communism and socialism on paper, it sounds amazing. Everybody do what you can.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to get an equal
Right.
share. We're all going to live in prosperity. But humans are so flawed that that's just not possible.
But
right?
is that even moral?
right?
To say we all get the same thing.
Yeah. You don't do much work.
No,
I do a lot
You're
of work.
better at stuff than I am.
Yeah.
I'm better at stuff than you are.
Yeah.
How is it moral for us to
Yeah.
do the same thing?
Can we work together and lift each other up, right? That's like the real discussion, right? Can my skills and my talents be used in order to benefit myself, but also help lift you up as well?
But
Like that's the discussion,
But I
right?
would also say competition makes us better.
100%.
Amen.
100%. It
Yeah.
does. It does for
You
sure.
know?
For sure.
Without that, I mean, I want to, boys wouldn't strive to be the fastest runner if we're all like, oh, you're all going to get the medal.
Right.
Well, that's the argument, and that's why I think America's as good as it is in like all of these different facets because we have the competition, because that inspires us and that pushes us, right?
It makes you look up to something.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
Need that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, I want to switch gears a little bit here. I want to talk with you. So you have been in the entertainment industry since you were a kid.
Yeah.
How has that shaped you? I want to hear the good and the bad.
I mean,
the
it's great.
nitty-gritty.
It's great. I think a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's like it's been. I hate complainers.
Yeah, no, I
You know
know.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
no. I feel you.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so difficult. It's not. It's been awesome. It's like there's been challenges, but it's like, man, I'm freaking lucky.
Yeah. I mainly ask because you always kind of hear stories about kids who have grown up in this and, got really got into different things that maybe they shouldn't have, or got offered things that you shouldn't
Look what
have.
we're seeing all right now with like
Exactly.
Diddy and everything else, man.
Dude,
Like,
exactly.
It's real.
Exactly.
It's real.
Did any of that stuff ever,
Not to me.
were there any things like that were ever going
I
around?
was like 18 when I did
Okay.
a couple things when I was like like print work, like JCPenney modeling.
Sure.
When I was a little kid, but no, I never,
okay.
I don't know.
But it's real though, right? I mean,
Oh,
like, that's what's going on.
it's like,
I mean, the
Diddy
Diddy
and,
stuff.
it's like, there it is. I mean,
Dude, it's crazy to me
Epstein and everything else.
That's what I was going to mention. Like, it's crazy how much overlap there is with Diddy and Epstein,
Mhm.
right? It's like he's filming certain things. He's got you exactly where he kind of wants you.
Yeah.
He kind of owns you with that
Yeah.
state. That's a scary thing, man. That's a very, very frightening
I think
aspect
it's a
of
really old thing. Too. I mean, it's been going on.
It has
for a
been going
long-
on.
for,
Yeah.
for thousands of years.
That's
I
bro.
was
the-
always
that's
shocked.
the scary thing about it.
Exactly.
It's been going on for a
Yeah.
long time.
forever, right? I remember hearing about Weinstein and everybody up in arms about it, as they ought to be. But I remember also thinking did people not know this was going on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's kind of a slime bag. Like, did anybody think that this was not happening? So I don't know, man. That aspect of it's interesting to me. I mean, as a person who works in the music industry and film industry,
Yeah.
hearing about that stuff, it's like, obviously, like, you just kind of assume that it's happening. But then also like having kids who are kind of showing interest in those industries. I'm like,
You got a helicopter parent.
oh, dude,
Whole
you
time.
do. And I feel like I do enough of that as is. So I
Yeah.
can imagine
Mm.
you get them involved in it. But yeah,
there's
it's a scary thing.
Sick people, man.
There
It's just
is, dude.
There's the most wonderful, beautiful, talented, awesome,
Yeah.
amazing people,
Mm.
evil, corrupt, disgusting, violent.
That's a good point, though.
people,
Like, you don't hear enough about
You
like, the
know.
good ones that are out
yeah,
there.
I mean, yeah.
You know?
There are some.
Well, it starts.
There are
I mean, it starts in the home, right? You gotta build that fortress in
Right.
the home. Now you're a Rockwall native.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Born and
That's
raised
awesome.
here, yeah.
Really?
Went to, let's see, Dobbs, Cullens. I went to Rockwell High 10 and 11 and then left for LA at middle of like 12th grade. Or no, it was in 10th grade when I left. Utley. So
Yeah.
I grew up here. Yeah.
Very cool. And your family has a theater background.
Yeah, my
Right.
mom and dad did theater. They did one of the playhouses up here.
Yeah,
It
the
was
Rockwell Playhouse, I think. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So how did that shape your interest in entertainment?
Singing and dancing and play acting in the house all the time. And
Had
so,
a fun house.
Yeah, acting was never really my thing though, but for my brothers, I think it shaped them. But for me, I mean, my parents were always singing in the house.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
You know what I mean?
That's
They
so
were always
much
singing- they
fun,
were singing
man.
all the time
A
in the
fun
house.
house.
Yeah, they were singing in the house a lot.
That's great.
You know.
Well, and probably also like it kind of gets you ready to handle an audience, right? It's like you like get on a stage and you aren't necessarily freaked out to like, oh my God, everybody's looking at me.
Right.
Like, you're just kind of like in tune with it almost at that point.
My first thing ever was at Lake Point Church. I was in the youth group worship team.
Oh,
Oh, cool.
So like
okay.
every Wednesday nights we would be doing the worship, and I was like, man, 10.
You were 10 doing
Yeah,
that?
we even did a
That's
little
cool,
tour
man.
where they took us. We did like a couple churches around, Texas.
Yeah. That's cool.
But if you know Lake Point, I mean, the youth center it was like lights and like a
Oh, yeah.
legit I
Oh,
mean, I was
dude.
doing like, what I felt like was legit concerts when I was like 10 and 11 years
That's
old,
awesome. Man.
So
That's great. What years was that?
02
Yeah.
probably.
Okay.
03, 02.
So that was right whenever they built the new building,
yeah,
right?
the Pier 419 is,
yes,
that's right when it was
That's what
built. That's when,
Very cool.
that's when I was,
That's really
first
cool.
kind of worship team doing it.
Pastor Steve.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
So in terms of getting into the industry at that age, were your mom and dad helicoptering around you a little bit?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they liked it too. I mean, they very
Sure.
much enjoyed it. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, it's cool.
There's
That's
something
good.
different about that industry that people can't quite put their finger on either. The people involved in it seem to be much more open with strangers faster. Is that an accurate statement?
I think because I don't want to paint the whole entertainment industry with a broad brush, but like left-leaning people usually are more involved in the arts.
Sure.
That
They're high in openness and
That's
low
right.
in conscientiousness,
That's
whereas
They're high in
conservatives
openness.
are high in
they
conscientiousness.
they
yeah.
like things that are new.
Right.
And I think also like when you are in Los Angeles
Mhm.
for a specific thing, you're very much open to networking and meeting different people and kind of talking to different people about backgrounds and what they're doing now and everything. So I think that there's that element of it also. It's just kind of like, yeah, let's just go out and talk. Let's just go out and have a drink, right? Let's just go and
It's immoral not to be open.
no, exactly,
All-
exactly,
You know, like
Exactly.
That's
yeah. No, it's
you know.
that's good. What's going on with the music industry right now?
I
What
mean,
are your
it
thoughts on
seems
it?
well. I think this, the election going the way it did. It's definitely. I mean, people are like celebrity endorsements mean nothing.
Mm.
No,
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of that. Yeah.
Taylor Swift to J Lo.
The J-Lo thing was
doesn't really
insane.
matter.
Because
George Clooney.
the Clooney, but the J-Lo thing was interesting because that was like right on the heels of all of this P. Diddy
I'm just-
stuff
I'm
breaking down. I'm like,
judgment.
no,
I'm
oh,
sorry,
dude,
but
I'm
like,
just so
come on,
thankful.
man.
stop.
Come on.
I'm just so thankful that we have fellow citizens that still love the country. We united,
Mhm.
we spoke, we
Yeah.
voted,
Mhm.
we have a democracy. It
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
And man, it just feels so good.
Yeah.
It just feels with what either way
Yeah.
for a party, just knowing that we have a working system
Yeah, right.
still in place.
Right.
And I would have loved to have heard both sides speak from unity.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's God,
100%.
country,
Yeah.
Yep.
family.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like no matter what, we're still Americans.
Yeah.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Lock arms. We're gonna take care of our people.
Yeah.
And that, dude, I mean, like that's
But as
No, I
much as I
completely
hate
agree.
to say it, there's only one side. You look at the rallies, there's only one side that's patriotic
Yeah.
when it comes to
and that's what's
Americana.
sad.
You know, that they have two shades of blue on their campaign signs. They have, the American flag is irrelevant there. It's just they seem to be breaking down this construct that is
Mhm.
American freedom and prosperity because they feel like they've been wronged somehow, but they're unwilling to actually go to these places
Yeah.
that they're protesting for and actually live
Yeah.
life there.
Well, over the past 16 years, that's where it's went astray because it was, I mean, even the Democrats from the 90s, it was still patriotic,
Way different. Yeah.
Yes.
you know?
Totally different.
What
You're
I mean,
at the
and then
wrong
you take it
rally.
back-
I think
Then you take it back to the Kennedys. Yeah,
yes.
that's
Imagine
right.
if
And the
9/11
Kennedys, I was
happened
like,
today. It might spark a civil war, right? Because 9/11 back then, we unified.
Oh,
around it.
absolutely.
Right.
And now today, we're going to be like, well,
Oh, it'd have been a
they
different
did
story
it
today.
because we're over there occupying and we're being bad
Well,
to
there's-
them. And another side's like, but they still did it to our country.
There was
So-
that whole thing on TikTok that was trending about people reading letters to, or Osama or whatever it was.
Yeah,
you
right,
know, like
right,
Oh,
their
yeah, that's
empathy
right.
or something for that. Yeah,
Yes,
just like, dude, man,
yes.
what?
It's
What?
like, stop. Yeah.
Man, anyways, but it's
Well, it just
I'm
How about-
it's a
how about-
dangerous slope for sure, right? Like you start doing that and you're like, oh, this is going to get messy,
Mm.
you know?
It's called deconstruction, and you just
Right.
start picking apart all the this is bad because it's attached to this because this
Sure.
person did this, and then you just deconstruct everything all
you
the
do
way
it
down
for
to nothing.
Yeah, you do it for a long enough time, and
Then
it'll
there's
become the
nothing.
norm.
There's nothing left if you just keep deconstruct and like apologizing. And I mean, the other thing I'll say about Trump is, yes, pro-American stuff, but also he's also a human middle finger to the whole establishment.
That's the biggest charm,
Yeah,
right?
like,
That's why
you know,
people really flipped out over him.
Michael Moore said it. If you ever watched his talk
Sure.
about, where he was warning about Trump, he was like, he is a human Molotov cocktail to throw into the system.
Mhm.
And to me, I thought that's kind of cool.
Bro, that's what I said. I was like, that's what the
That's kinda
system
cool.
needs.
I don't know.
That's
Like,
what we
I mean,
need, you know?
He's-
That's
you
Rage
know,
Against the Machine, bro.
Exactly.
You got,
Exactly.
I mean, the left is not, not all the left. I mean, I have liberal friends and stuff like that, but like, bro, your party has like Dick Cheney now. Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happened? What's going on
Yeah.
here? I mean, like, and he's, if this happens, it's going to make him mad. It's going to make all the people who put our boys over and girls in Afghanistan. It's going to make, the people mad who have watched over us going $36 trillion in debt. Good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
the little punk in me that's
It's
like,
an industry
cool,
that you
like,
need
let's
to
do
shake
that,
up. Right.
That's kind of might be a little mean.
You don't want war.
Right.
You want to be able to live. You want to
Yeah,
be able to
you want a good
afford
economy.
milk. You want to be able to have decent price gas.
Right.
And just look at the
Right.
basic, simple truths.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
I want to talk about the band. So, Metro Station was
Yeah.
you guys' first
Yep.
big thing, right?
Yeah.
You guys had a top 10 hit song.
Yeah.
Did that change you guys' life at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
How so? Just like the money?
Too
I
much
would
money.
assume.
Too much money at a young age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it changed for the better or worse?
My first manager was always like, drugs, ego, and money is like going to be the things you have to watch out for. And
Yeah.
I think it was awesome, but it led to a lot of problems because egos get inflated, and then
Sure.
there's too much money to go around. And then,
Sure.
yeah.
Mm.
How long did you guys have the band before it? Did it break up and turn into the band that it is now?
No,
Social order?
technically, Metro Station's on hiatus.
Gotcha. Okay. But it's you and Trey still, right?
Yeah, we own it. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and Social Order is just a new thing.
Social order is
my-
cool, man. The music's really, really
it's-
cool. I meant to tell you that.
Thank you. It's been working pretty well. We just did a little run in Texas. We have a big festival in May called Cruel World.
Okay.
That the same people that do Coachella,
Okay.
they're putting it on. And it's some 80s stuff with like a lot of newer bands,
Yeah.
like New Order, OMD, Nick Cave. You know who Nick
Yeah,
Cave is?
yeah,
He's
totally.
that's very like cool and indie.
Yeah.
And then like newer acts like Maru and stuff, if you know who that is, but he had a huge TikTok song.
Okay.
So it's like a little blend of like old and new,
I
kind of
love
in that synth, kind of post-punk,
Yeah.
alternative kind
Yeah.
of thing you'd say. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
Cool. No, man, I like it. And now, are you guys on a label? Like,
No, totally independent.
what are your thoughts on like the label thing? Like, do bands need labels now?
Yeah, I think if you, it's a powerful machine.
Yeah.
We are doing like kind of like a test run with AWOL, which is a label.
Uh-huh.
We're not fully signed to them or anything, but we're doing like a little test run with them. And so,
Okay.
having their power behind it is nice, and
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with that. Do you need a label? Probably. I don't. You can do it on your own.
Yeah. My
It's hard though. It's hard to
biggest
do it on
thing.
your own.
So I work in creative with musicians and bands and everything. And so I'm on like a lot of these discussions. And one thing that I hear a lot about is the discussion of beyond the money, do we need
Yeah.
a label? Beyond having financial backers, and of course, like the networks that it
That's
provides
the
and
big
everything.
thing,
That's
yeah.
a big thing too.
Yep.
But man, I just feel like with as much independent music is happening right now,
Mm.
it's like aside from radio, which that's an entirely different discussion too. I don't even know if you need radio anymore either.
Right,
I
right.
mean,
TikTok
but
might be.
I-
Might be
100%.
more important.
100%. I
Yeah.
agree. I think TikTok, I think curated playlists,
Mm.
I think that is like the radio right
Mm.
now. But yeah, that's always like a discussion is like, man, do we really need to go after a label and give up, because when you go that route, you do end up giving up certain things, right? Masters, recording, I mean, all of this stuff, merch sales, like all these deals and everything. So, the question is like, can we do this on our own, and can we hold on to 100% ownership of this?
Well, no,
Yeah.
you can't. I mean,
You don't think?
if you get with a label or anything, you're not. Yeah.
Well,
So
not
I
going
guess
with
your
the label.
point
That's
is-
what I'm saying.
Your point
That's
is,
what
if you
I'm
want
saying.
100% ownership, you can't
Yeah,
let
like Whiskey
anybody.
Myers, they don't
Whiskey
have,
Myers is a
they don't
perfect
have a label.
example.
Yeah.
No
No
Can't have
label.
anybody in then.
They own, and they're starting to play stadiums now. So it's
Yeah.
like guys like that. I mean, I think if you're willing to put the work in,
Mhm.
you obviously are, that like the payoff's there. It's just, it's probably not going to be as fast as if you join a label and
Well, the MySpace days were over.
the MySpace days.
Yeah,
man.
if you can do it by yourself
Put
and
a
not have a
song
label
in your
do
MySpace
it.
profile. I think I put Shake It in mine, honestly.
The MySpace was an Instagram, a TikTok, and a Spotify all in
Yeah.
one, and then it broke up into all these little pieces. Which I
Right.
find very interesting.
If you take the compensation and revenue, out of the whole equation,
Mhm.
does it make you kind of sad that it killed the radio?
Mm.
Like social media and everything killed the radio. I mean,
Yeah.
because
I love the radio. I was a big radio fan.
Like, makes it kind of sad.
Yeah,
right?
I was like my guys hate it when I say it, but I was never like a record guy. except for like now CDs because it was just like all the hits. So I would buy
Yeah.
it. And I'm a big pop junkie, so I like that. So I love the radio, and yeah, it does kind of make me sad.
Kind of takes the nostalgia kind of out of it, right?
Yeah, I think so. You know, there was like I don't know, some stuff like Kiss FM and stuff like that are still. I think they put on their big
K-Rock, baby.
K-Rock. They put on their big festivals and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, radio is not what it once was for sure.
Remember the Edge in Dallas?
Oh, yeah.
94.5, the
Yeah.
Edge.
Absolutely.
Dude, I was so
K-Love
into that.
and
I think the real charm about like radio and like even like being able to turn on the TV and have something playing and it's like, oh, cool, I'm going to watch this. Like right now, it's like you got to go search for a bit. I mean, I guess with like the playlisting, it's different, but a lot of the time, it's like I just want to turn on an app or the radio or the TV and have something playing
Well, it's
that's
way more
fed to
convenient.
me.
Yeah, it's way more
I'm not
convenient.
going to look for anything. I just want it
But
fed to me.
You remember arguing over song lyrics? Like
Yeah.
with like a sibling or something?
Back in the day, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because you couldn't just bust out a phone and
Yeah,
Google
Google
it.
it,
You're
yeah.
like, no, he's saying.
The biggest
Yeah.
one was, excuse me while I kiss this guy. I'm
Please
like, yo, I
excuse
know
me
it's
while
not
I kiss this
that.
guy.
I can tell you, I'm not exactly
And
sure
it's-
what it is, but I know what it's
Sometimes,
not.
like if you had the CD, you could pull the CD out and like they'd have the lyrics on the back.
And it was
Sometimes
printed
you
like
could
that
see,
that
no, he
big.
is
Yeah.
saying it.
See, I told you. He said, kiss the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, it's changed. I mean, the music industry's changed a ton. Dude, in the past 5 years, it's changed a ton. Like, it'll be interesting to see where it is in the next 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What do you think's going to happen to in the next 5? I mean, how's it going
With
to
the
go, you
music
think?
industry,
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna die. It just has too much
No.
money. But I think there's gonna be some significant changes. We'll see what happens.
I
think-
mean, I do, like, I wonder how long radio is going to be a thing for.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, I mean, I know they're still doing things and it's relevant still, but to what degree, right?
I mean, I think for at least another 20 some years.
Probably so.
Because you still like the older audience still holds on to like the morning like TV,
Right.
like the morning news.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you'll see like companies still advertise,
Yeah.
like local plumbing companies and things on there. So,
Right.
like people still watch
People
this.
love their
They
morning
do.
news.
They do.
They do.
They
They still
do,
watch
man.
it.
So I don't think that people are ever
I'm
going
kind
to
of
get
getting
away
blasted
from
by this thing. Is there a way to turn this down?
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. The,
Sorry. Sorry.
the movie behind you.
Sorry about that. It's
No, you're fine.
like blinding me.
So yeah, we're like
Thank you.
putting up movies behind guests.
I see it.
And it's, yeah. You're like, bro, I'm watching the whole thing.
He kind of sees it.
I'm
He's kind of blind in one
Sorry
eye
about
right
that.
now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
No, dude, all good. All right. So from the music industry to the film industry.
Yeah.
Now I know your brother's involved in that a lot.
Yeah.
What's he been doing recently? How is he?
Mitchell's doing good. I think he's kind of like doing his own thing. He's not really, doing the acting thing right now.
Yeah.
So,
He moved to Dallas, didn't he?
yeah, he's here.
Nice. Is
Yeah.
he liking it?
Yeah, I think he's liking it. I think it's a change for him.
Yeah.
It's a big change.
Which is probably kind of nice, honestly. Right?
yeah,
I mean, change always kind of sucks because it's a little bit scary.
yeah.
But if you're doing it for the right reasons,
Yeah.
lean into it.
Well, I think with with his experience, with Disney and stuff. I mean, he made some mistakes and
Sure.
stuff happened, whatever. And just it's a difficult business.
It is, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's tough just having eyes on you all the time.
Right.
Like, I think that's what like the main thing is. I mean, could you imagine if like
Oh,
everything
man.
you've said or tweeted or
The
everything
teenage
is
Mark
like,
would be so cray.
well, and dude, I think kids now, like, I mean, just with tweets alone, it's like, dude, you're doomed. You're doomed.
Yeah.
Don't ever post anything.
Dude.
Like,
That's a big problem.
I don't-
It's
it's a big
anything
problem.
you said on a video game or
Yeah.
you said on Twitter.
Right,
It's like
dude, everything's recorded. Everybody's looking at you. It's
I definitely
really
said
scary.
some stuff when I was little, and like, thank God it was never,
Of course. We all
everybody
have
did,
the-
especially when you're playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Stuff, stuff slips
The
out.
emotions are high,
The Gen Z generation's got it hard.
They do.
I mean, they
They
got
do.
it hard. Everything is constantly being watched, right? They
Mhm.
have access to a lot of
Right.
platforms that when you're younger, you say and do things that
And you
You
don't
know,
even think about it too.
you're not fully developed yet.
No.
No.
Maturity. And
No.
then and then you're going to get ridiculed for it later.
And-
It's not fair.
No,
And
it's
it's
not.
cool
It's
to
not
say
fair.
stupid stuff almost at that age, right?
Well,
Like
yeah.
it's cool if you say something ridiculous and out there and then somebody's behind you filming it and it goes
Well, you-
online.
Makes your
and
friends
it's-
laugh and like, yeah.
You don't know. And they're so plugged in. They're getting ran at by so many different things. These
Yeah.
video games and social media and the internet and the ads in the video games.
really
And
bad.
It's
Yeah.
and
Well, how do you defend? I mean, we can't nerf the world.
You're not going to nerf.
You know
it,
what I mean?
no.
So what do we do?
Starts in the home.
Yeah.
Starts in the home.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure that out right now, with
Starts in the home.
my 2-year-old. Like, what, I can't protect him forever.
No.
Can't mommy him for not it's just mommy's who
No, of course.
nurture, whatever. But
No.
you know what I mean?
No,
It's
for
like,
sure.
Starts in the
you
home.
want to keep him, you want to just keep him in a cage somewhere forever so nothing ever hurts him. It's like,
Yeah.
he's got to see the real world,
I know.
You got to be able to lead by example.
Yeah.
You got to be able to teach them
Mhm.
the ways and get in front of it
Yeah.
and understand, because we're going to have conversations with our kids that our parents didn't even think that they would have to have conversations with
Yeah.
us about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's going to start with us being able to do due diligence like that and have those walls, because there will come a time where the enemy will try to breach them.
Yeah.
You know?
So this
And,
is good. This is from Jordan Peterson, right?
Yep.
If you don't
One of my
protect your
favorite people.
children, you don't get rid of the vulnerability. In fact, you do the opposite. You expose them to the world as much as you possibly can, and you
Right.
teach them to be strong. It's the best antidote to their vulnerability.
I love
It's
Peterson.
very, dude,
Yeah.
I do too. Teaching them discipline, teaching them consequence
Mm.
has been really tough
If
for
you-
me.
Yeah. If you don't teach them, the world will. And
Exactly.
That's scary.
Exactly. Like I hate anytime that I have to quote unquote punish my kids. I hate it.
I know.
I freaking
know.
hate it, man. It's the worst. But at the same time, it's like I want them to know that, hey, like if you either behave in a certain way or choose to
Right.
do something, there are consequences. And
Yeah.
and as we get older, they're going to get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So you really need to understand kind of like where to align with all that. It's really, really tough.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Well, it's a generation where, I mean, 73% say that they're the loneliest.
Oh, I
Isn't
know.
that- right. And
Yeah.
that's something so connected.
Mhm.
We can hit up any of our friends at any time. And yet, yeah, we feel
Right.
lonely.
But
loneliest.
we're the loneliest
Yeah.
generation. I
Yeah.
know. The irony is just amazing
Got
there.
42 or 43%,
Yeah.
have mental health
Oh yeah.
conditions.
I have
Yeah.
that graphic for you, Mark. I'm going to pull it up. Give me 1 sec.
Not to get all Ted Kaczynski.
Do it.
But like he warned about how the all this technological advancement was going to destroy humanity.
Yeah.
And it's like, he was obviously
doing
not a
his
good. He was
job.
obviously not a good person. But like because all that, everything he did. But
Sure.
it's like he warned about the consequences of all this technology.
Look at this. Yeah. Gen Z, the loneliest generation, 73%, 42%
Diagnosed with a mental health condition.
57%. Gosh, man. 30% identify as LGBT.
71%
highest
addicted
suicide
to
rates.
pornography.
Wow.
Pornography is a
Wow.
big problem. Yeah.
Highest suicide rate since World War II. Dude, this is insane.
But might this be, part of the, medical establishment too, saying, oh, this kid feels sad. He must be,
Oh, 100%.
It's like if you feel
we
sad,
need to put him on a drug.
right. It's okay. I mean, like, to feel, obviously, serious depression is terrible.
Mhm.
And, God bless anyone who's actually going through that.
Mhm.
And I don't, mean this in a flippant way, but like sometimes for me, like I feel like some of my best work is when I'm feeling a little
100%.
sad. I mean, when I'm feeling,
Yeah.
reminiscing about something that a part of my past I'll never be able to get
Right.
back,
right.
And I'm not saying that there aren't, serious,
no, of
depression,
course.
but-
Yeah.
it's okay to feel a little sad every night. You don't need
Mhm.
you don't need to, brave new world. The moment I feel anything of discomfort, I need to like pop a pill.
Yeah.
So
Yep,
I immediately
exactly.
get rid of it. Like if one of your loved, I think it was Sam Harris and I forget who it was. Sam Harrison. It was like, would you take a pill to get rid of any emotion you had the moment your, say, father died, or say your mother died, or is it important to
To grieve and naturally
to
have that.
grieve and naturally feel something like that,
Exactly.
or would you want to just drink yourself into oblivion to
Right.
forget?
Right.
Something to think about.
Mhm.
It's like a very interesting. It's a part of humanity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's part of our,
I've noticed anytime that I get stressed out, what I do just off the bat is open up my phone and go to an app. And I do that as a way to like distract me. And the second that I could like figure that out, I was like, oh wow, I'm actually like using this as a crutch. That's
Totally.
a problem.
Yeah.
That's a big,
Yeah.
big problem.
Yeah.
And so I've had to become conscious of it. But man, I feel
go
like
to
we're
Angry
just-
Birds.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But man, I just feel like that's so. I mean, between social media and I mean anything now, it's just like you have ways that you can escape, and I think when those are used properly, it's probably fine. But
Yeah.
I mean, to your point exactly, it's like, look, deal with what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Feel it, identify it, and deal with it. And I think I think a lot of the time that gets
And I don't
overlooked.
hold it against people who can't.
100%.
But I'm just saying,
100%.
you know what I mean.
No,
yeah.
and there's a threshold, right?
Yeah.
Like there is a point where it becomes a real problem.
Yes.
It's like, hey, I can't. I need to take
Yes.
something. I need to do. I need some
Yeah.
outlet course.
Yeah.
But I mean, even like with my kids, it's like I tell them all the time. I'm like, hey, look, it's okay to feel a little like bored.
Yeah,
They're
right,
always like, hey,
right.
I'm bored. I need a game. I need to. I'm like,
Yes.
dude, it's okay to
Yes.
feel bored. Like, get in your head. Think
Boredom
about
is the
stuff,
best
like,
thing for
visualize.
kids.
It is,
Right.
man. It's really good, and they don't have enough of it now.
No, they don't. I remember when I was working a lot out of the house and I had the 2 little girls, and they would say, Dad, do this. Dad, let's do that. And I would say, go to your room, go to your playroom for five minutes, 10 minutes, and do something, and then you can come out. And they'd go in. 2 minutes later, they'd come out and they say, Dad, has it been 10 minutes? And I'd say, no, you're not even close. Go back in there. 10 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by, 40, an hour. They're in there. They forget because
Right.
through
That's cool.
boredom, it causes them to be creative.
Exactly.
And so then they're like, oh my gosh, you go in there and the room's destroyed,
Yeah.
right? Because there's stuff
But
everywhere.
at that point, it doesn't even
But
matter.
they
It's
took,
like,
Yeah.
good.
they took their bookcase, they built a ship, they're pirates on the
Right,
open
right.
seas. You know, and you're like, dang, work sucks. This actually looks pretty cool. I jump in.
The imagination is so important. I think with all this, also with all this new technology and everything else, and apps and video games and stuff, it's like people kids don't really use their imagination
Right.
enough, maybe.
Mhm.
And your imagination is where all these wonderful, someone had to dream up the idea of a TV or dream up the idea of like,
Yeah.
flying, a
Or
plane,
air conditioning.
someone had to dream these things before they're, a reality. So the imagination is even, I think, as important as, someone who's super technologically literate,
Yeah. And one thing I do with my kids that's really hard when they're young, which might help you, is when they're capable of doing something, you have to let them do it. So whether it's
Right.
brushing their teeth or getting
Yes.
dressed,
Yeah.
Right.
it's going to take an ungodly amount of time. It's going to take them 20 minutes to get dressed or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the second they're capable of doing it, you have to allow them to do it so they can get better, so they can fine tune that skill and whatever that is.
Tying
good.
their shoes.
Yes.
That's
Good.
that's our challenge right now.
Yes, we're late for school.
It's going to take a while, and it's
Yes.
going to make him mad. It's going to make him mad when he messes it up. But man, you just got to just sit there and like, dude, you got this. You can do this. I've seen you. You do it before. You totally can do this,
Yeah.
man. And
Right.
you just see him fuming and everything. But then he gets in. He's like, okay, awesome, I did it, and he feels good about himself
Right.
because of
He
it.
did it.
And
Yeah.
that's important.
That's good, man. You're a very patient dad.
Oh, thank you,
You are, man.
dude.
I've seen you in action.
Thank
I've seen
you.
you in action. dude.
Thank you.
You are very, very.
I think the
Very good,
job
patient dad.
kind of forces you to be patient, almost, right?
Mhm.
If you're doing it in like the right way.
Mm.
It's like you kind of have to. I don't feel like I'm patient in any aspect of life ever, and that's to my own fault. But I do feel like parenting has sort of made me more chill about things,
Mm.
and I think that's important. Thank you though. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Well, and with technology and with our ability to, Postmates anything in 2 seconds or pull up a thing.
Oh, I know.
That makes us very impatient.
No,
We're
it
like,
does.
no, I need
Oh,
this
yeah.
right now.
Instant gratification
I
is
need it
a
right
huge thing for
yeah.
us right now. Huge
Yeah.
thing. I mean, even likes. It's like you open up an app
Right.
and you're like, I only got 10 likes.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
the world that we live in is absurd.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, it does affect you emotionally.
It does.
That's another thing. Going
Isn't
back to
that
the
silly?
kids thing, I'm sure. Yeah.
For kids, it's even worse,
Yeah.
though, of course, because they don't have like that perspective yet.
Yeah,
It's like, hey,
destroys
this isn't a
them.
big deal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, at least I can look at it and get angry and then say, oh, I'm an idiot.
Why
This
do I
isn't a
care?
big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They don't have that, though, What does it say?
There you go. Right there.
When people get likes or even notifications for likes on their phone, your brain does. Sorry, I've got to jump
Dopamine
around here to see it.
releases dopamine.
Yeah,
They
no,
knew
yeah,
this.
right.
They knew this when they
Yeah.
were making it.
Well, that's the way that they hook you, and it's on their end. I got to be honest, it's really smart.
Yeah, super
because it
smart.
gets people coming back, whether or not they should be.
Mhm.
That's the question. But I think it puts more onus on you to decide what's important versus what's not. Anytime that I've taken a break from Instagram or, social media in general,
Yeah.
I have felt so much more like clear-minded, so much better about myself. And I can kind of like refocus on things that actually matter versus, these fake
Right.
likes and stuff. It's just like, man, the world is awesome. Like go out and lay at the beach or go to the park or go swimming or get outside and it's just like when we disguise it with, fake things, fake likes and like all this stuff. It's like, dude, who cares? It's silly.
Staring into the box.
Yeah. A little tiny box.
It's like even now, like if you want to punish a child, like instead of saying you can't go outside and play with your friends, it's like I'm going to take away your
screen
phone.
time.
Like,
Dude, I know.
I mean, that's crazy.
Oh,
Dude,
God,
it's-
Please don't make me go outside without my phone. You're like, it's like
it's a
that's
different
day we're
world.
in,
You have to have things that can keep you grounded, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And for me, it's my faith. And you talked about being at Lake Point,
Yep.
and I saw a video
Yep.
of you sharing your testimony.
Mhm.
Yeah, can you share that with us?
I was raised Christian. I was around Christian churches and everything from a very young age. Was in the youth group and stuff like that. Then when I was like, I think 20 or 21 or 22, I saw that like new atheist movement. So Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens. You ever watch Christopher Hitchens videos?
Mm.
So these were guys who were, Richard Dawkins, all those guys. These guys were, they were called like the four horsemen of like the atheist apocalypse. Basically, it was like their joke. So they did a bunch of stuff where they would like, basically deconstruct religion. Christopher Hitchens was one of the biggest ones, and I got really depressed. There was even a point where I was like so depressed I was like having medical problems basically.
Mm.
And then I discovered people like Jordan Peterson, and got back, basically came home, to Christianity. It's been very, very kind of like a little bit of an emotional roller coaster coming back.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
Yeah. And I'm not perfect. And,
Yeah, nobody is.
still learn,
Yeah.
but it's cool to see Christianity. There's like definitely a reviving of, Christianity. And,
I think so too, man.
in
for
a
sure.
big
I
way.
think there's a huge
So-
one right now.
you have
It's
like
10
Russell
o'clock.
Brand talking about,
Hey, that's amazing, isn't it?
Isn't that-
it's
isn't that
like
a crazy
Russell
one?
Brand,
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I
I know.
followed his journey, and
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah,
that's,
same. What sort of pushed you away from it? And then along those lines, what sort of brought you home with it?
There's no meaning in atheism. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
some atheists, they have, but
Yeah,
they
yeah,
eventually,
sure.
I don't know,
Generally
their
speaking,
meaning
though.
is to like push atheism, I guess. I don't know, but like, I don't know. I think even if you look at just the reality of it, it makes stronger homes, it makes stronger families.
Christianity? You're saying,
Christianity. And
Yeah.
I think other religions can probably do it too. But I think with me, I mean, my tradition is Christianity, and
Mhm.
that's what I know, and that's what
Right.
brought me, and I obviously believe in Jesus. So, I think it makes you a stronger individual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, I remember getting to an age, like I was exactly like you. Like I was raised in Christianity.
Yeah.
That was like our core. But I remember getting to a certain age where you kind of look at the world a little bit differently, and you
Yeah.
kind of see, man, there's some major problems going on. There's a lot of stuff that, I just can't explain. And I
Yes.
think that kind of forces you out of that initial mindset a little bit. And then as you even get older past that, you're like, yeah, there's a lot of problems but these are problems with humanity, right? This isn't problems with a God who's not loving or God who's not there. It's like, these are problems with free will. And then it kind of like sways you back a little bit there. So I think that's like my journey also. Just it's really, really, really hard because like on one hand, like I love the stuff that like guys like Jordan Peterson are doing and talking about. I love that stuff.
yeah.
But at the same time, I do feel like the intellectual pursuit of God is great, but I think that it's really tough also because it's like, if this is truly a God who whose ways are not our ways, whose thoughts are not our thoughts and everything, it's going to be very, very hard to fully comprehend that, right?
Right.
But I mean, I think the journey for that's important.
Right.
I think trying to understand it's important. I think I've gotten to a point where I'm like, I'm not going to understand all of it.
Yeah.
I have had experiences with the Holy Spirit. I've had experiences with God that I know 100% are real. And for me, that's good enough.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you why, there's starving kids who die. I couldn't tell you why this or that happens.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I think those are questions that we won't ever have answers to, whether we're, Christian or atheist or Hindu or anything. Right. So, I think coming to terms with that's important.
I think we do know though that when a state tries to remove God,
yes,
the state becomes God.
Yes.
So we do know that.
We do.
So
as
like,
a fact
yeah. That's the and I think it's a good defense against tyranny too.
Yeah.
Not just in a reality. I think especially Christianity is a good defense against tyranny.
Yeah.
Sure. Agreed.
You have the with Christianity, atonement for sins has been taken care of because of the act of one man, right?
Yeah.
I can't do anything performance wise that's going to be able to make that better or take my sins away other than to believe in him. So there's not a performance scale, right? With other religions, there's things that you have to do to be able to
the works, right?
That's
the
true.
works.
That's true.
Very true.
I'll say this too, which I find very interesting. I don't know if we get the First Amendment without Jesus.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because he was obviously speaking up, and the government obviously murdered him. But he was being accused of corrupting with his speech, right?
Yeah.
And then he was murdered. So like,
absolutely,
I think for anybody looking back, they'd be like, well, we don't want to that's not right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we get the First Amendment without Jesus.
Man, wow,
That's deep.
That's really good.
Deep. That's from me.
You never really think about it.
Right.
No, you don't.
That's awesome.
Man.
I like that.
Because where else would you see it? Where else would you, who else? I don't know. I mean, maybe there's obviously, the founders were like, we want to be able to say whatever we want to the king, but they had to get that idea from somewhere else too. And they were all reading their Bibles.
It's all Judeo-Christian.
Yeah.
Laws and codes of ethics.
Right.
No, I mean, you're right. You can't do that in China.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Nope.
You can't do that in Russia.
Sure, you can. You just got to put
just gonna
China in a
die.
positive
You
light.
can't ride the
You're gonna
bus.
disappear
You can't
a
ride the
little
bus
bit.
today.
Yeah, right.
You won't be able to eat today. It's like, okay.
Man, awesome. Well, I want to switch back with the music stuff real quick.
Yeah.
Because I want to get you to, so how can people find the music?
Yeah.
How can people find you? How can people interact with you? What's your...
Social Order Music on Instagram. And then my Instagram's The Mason Musso. I think we're gonna come back and do South by Southwest here in Texas.
Cool.
Yeah, and we'll probably hit up Dallas and Houston and San Antonio and stuff like that as well. And then we have that Cruel World Festival in May. We just put out a new single on last Friday. And
I heard it, man. It's really, really good.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
We were jamming to it earlier.
Yeah, it's we're super happy about that, and we're gonna put out like a whole new EP as well. So we're working on that right now.
When does that drop? Do you know?
I think probably next year.
Okay.
We actually just the next thing we have coming up is we placed a sync on Disney Spanish TV.
Oh, cool.
For a new show they're working on. I forget the name of the show. But anyway, we're announcing that'll be out in December.
Nice.
But yeah, it's for Spanish speaking Disney channel.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so one of our songs, "Boys," was placed on for like the main title song.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So yeah, we're very excited about that as well.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's big. Awesome, man. Well, cool. Well, we probably got to wrap it up pretty soon.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, we can keep going if you want a little
Okay.
bit. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
are you good? I don't want to.
We can go for another 10 minutes. Whatever you guys want to do. Yeah,
Okay.
whatever you guys want.
I mean, I'm always down to talk more.
Okay.
So. We could go. Okay, let me think here. We covered the music stuff pretty well. We covered faith, family. I don't know. Is there any stuff that like you want to touch on?
Yeah, what are you passionate about right now?
Yeah.
I do enjoy politics. I think politics is very interesting. I love music.
Let's touch on that a little bit.
Yeah.
So, would you say you're more of a centrist? Would you say you're more one way or the other?
I always felt like I was like a classical kind of like liberal.
Yeah.
Now I don't really. To me, all my liberal friends are even people I've had conversations with where I'm like, again, going back to the free speech thing, they don't believe it anymore, and I don't know what happened with that. And
Well, I think I can tell you what happened with that.
Yeah.
I think that liberals in general are very frightened of this idea that it's like you can say whatever you want, even if it hurts somebody's feelings, even if it talks against a certain race. So there's a big point to kind of say, hey, at what point does free speech become hate speech?
Right.
And at the point that it does become hate speech, what do we do about it? I think that's the discussion there.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you combat that? Right? I don't know, because because I'm with you guys. I completely believe you should be able to say what you want. Now as a logical, loving person, like I think I am, feel like I am, like I wouldn't ever want my free speech to become hate speech. But for those that do, what do you do about it? I think that's the real question. And I think it's a valid question, honestly, man. I mean, like, you can't be going around saying, oh gosh, I hate certain race, or I hate this or that. Like, maybe you have the freedom to, and I think that that's important.
Yeah.
But when the lines cross, what happens then?
Yeah.
I mean, it just comes down to like a moral thing.
I think it does
it's just
too.
an individual thing, you know what I mean? Like somebody's talking crazy, they're just talking crazy,
Right. Right.
But it's wobbly
It's super slippery.
because even at the Madison Square Garden event that Trump did, there was the comedian Kill Tony.
Hinchcliffe, yeah.
Yeah, he did the Puerto Rico joke where he called,
Yeah.
it was a joke. And that was like, this is complete racism. This is the most horrible thing
Right.
ever. This is disgusting. This is hate speech.
Right.
And I'm going, freaking comedian.
Yeah, he's a comedian.
Turns out Puerto Rico didn't care.
Yeah.
No, I know. Yeah.
If that's the case, I mean, dude,
And in comedy, people say
Comedy, man,
crit.
yeah.
In comedy,
I mean,
people say crit. But that's the thing.
what
It's
you
like,
do.
so, and the comedian's job, right, in culture is to go, is that the line right there?
Yeah.
Where we're not supposed to, that's the line,
Good, because I'm going to jump right over
jump right over it,
Yeah.
I mean, that dude.
And everyone, the whole audience is like, shocked and laughing hysterically because he's doing something that,
Well, you have roast, right? That's the big
Right.
thing.
Exactly.
So it's okay to do that when
Yeah.
it's scripted.
hate
and
speech is okay there.
Yeah. There it's okay,
Well, the context matters,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think that's the thing. I think even like Joe Rogan, he talked about it. He said he was like, look, he was like a Trump rally is not a comedy club. He was like, it's not a great spot for somebody to make a joke like that.
Yeah.
He was like, in the same way that like you wouldn't listen to an acoustic band playing when there's a jackhammer going outside.
Right,
He's like,
yeah.
it's not the right setting.
That makes sense.
For
Oh, that makes
And
sense for
and
sure.
it totally does.
Yeah.
I mean, he's awesome about that. He's spot on. So yeah, I mean, it's like it's an issue of context and the right time and place and
agree.
everything. And so
Read the room.
read the room a little
That's
bit.
right.
Yeah. But at the
I agree.
same time, it's like I look at it, and I'm like, it's like the Trump staff hired a comedian to probably say
Right.
a little bit of stuff that's going to be a little bit edgy for
Right.
a little bit of press.
Yeah.
It's smart. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's tricky.
But should you be crucified? Should your
No.
entire
Right.
career
No,
be put
absolutely
on the
not.
chopping
Right.
block for making the joke?
No.
And I
Yeah.
think that's
No.
the issue of free speech.
Right.
Right.
And who
Right.
defines what's hate speech?
That's also
That's
very
another
important.
big topic,
You know?
in it, right?
That's
'Cause-
very important.
Because I see, especially if you go online, even sometimes you'll hear on like CNN and MSNBC saying very vile things about certain ethnic populations in the United States. It's like, how is that okay?
Yeah.
I don't understand,
Well, let's
or even a class thing. They'll say, these flyover country or stuff like that. I mean, that's hateful too,
Yeah,
Yeah.
coastal elites versus the middle of America. Let's flip the script though and go with Trump's new committee designed to investigate government institutions.
Yeah.
Elon Musk,
Mhm.
Vivek, that could get out of hand really quickly
Yeah.
if you don't agree with the line of thinking of the people
Yeah.
that are in power. So
Yeah.
that's one of those things that's concerning to me where it's like, this seems a little bit like a Ministry of Truth from 1984, where it's like,
Interesting,
yes, our government's out of control. We have so much corruption because it's so vast and there's no oversight of anything. So do we really need a committee to investigate, or do we just need to start striking down institutions that we believe are irrelevant?
Right.
Like what
Right.
good, let's look at FEMA. Are they going to look at FEMA? What did FEMA do in the hurricanes?
I saw that.
They
Yeah.
skipped over people with Trump signs. They weren't
Disgusting.
allowing regular
Was that a
civilians.
thing? Did they really do
Yeah,
that?
they did.
Yes.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so now there's a larger investigation going on, but also that they weren't allowing everyday civilians to help their neighbors. They weren't allowing them into certain
Yeah.
properties that they had closed off.
Mm.
This is what's going around. So
some evil.
This
evil
is worth
stuff, man.
investigating, but is it worth to have an in place institution that is, at least it's looking at the government institutions and not the people?
I'm excited for Bobby Kennedy Jr. to come.
That's what I was going to say, man. Same.
Start doing that with FDA and big pharma.
Same.
Yeah. Just don't touch the oil. Like
hands off that oil.
Right.
No, but I think that's the thing too.
Man. We need that too.
I think that's
America
it too.
first, baby.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take a while. I think it's going to take a long time to fully untangle all of the damage that's done. Because man, all of these government agencies are in bed with other agencies, and they're all getting paid under the table and all that. I think, I love what they're beginning. I think that it's important for people to understand too. It's going to take a couple years at least, right? And in order to fully undo that stuff, because it's just so messy right now.
You ever seen the Malay, the president of Brazil, what he did? There's this funny
Argentina.
Yeah, sorry, Argentina. Yeah. Thank you. He went in and he was just there was a chalkboard of all the government positions and everything and agencies, and he was just pulling them off. He goes, "You're fired. You're fired. You're fired." And it's just total
And within 3 months, the government was in a surplus.
This position's gone, and that
Well,
might change some stuff real quick. I
think this is
it's a very libertarian.
The budget
approach,
was in a surplus after that. They weren't in debt anymore. It was within 3 months of him getting elected.
I vibe with the libertarians, man. I really do.
I do too.
But it's we can't remove all the stop signs and the speed limits. It's So
I think it gets to a
something.
point where things are so tangled up and messy that the only way to really do it is to come in and do that exact thing. Hey, department's gone.
It's gone.
This is done.
Yeah.
You're fired. This and that. I think it's not fun. It's going to make everybody a little bit uneasy, but I think that you just got to do it. I think that's the only choice.
So too. I think just keeping it simple, like term limits.
Yeah.
Dude,
Why are they there that long?
Why don't we have that?
Yeah.
Just term
exactly.
limits. You can't be a career politician.
Yeah. When you're 90,
serve your term.
you got to stop. Yeah.
I agree.
Turn over
This
the
is
power.
not good.
And you look at their salaries compared to their net worth. How is that? I mean, someone like Nancy Pelosi, it's
I was
Nancy,
going to say,
come on, there's something
Insider
going on
trading
here.
going
you got
on.
$100,000.
That's what I'm saying.
And then you're worth $15 million.
Right.
Come on.
Right. Yeah. Doesn't add up.
Come on.
Yeah.
And it's those are basic things that everybody sees, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, a Libertarian, whatever you are, you see a problem with that, right?
Yeah.
So it's fix it. Clean it. Clean it up,
Yeah. I like the term
that's what
limit
we're doing.
idea. I think
too.
that's that's smart.
Keep it flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Owens for president. I mean, just saying, right? I mean, maybe we have a discussion after the show,
You know what? I'll say I wasn't a huge JD Vance fan, but I really like JD Vance now, and I think we'll see what happens over the next 4 years, but potentially, he could be a great next president.
Did you see the Hillbilly Elegy?
I never saw the movie.
Go watch it.
Yeah,
It's good, man.
Yeah.
It gives it just gives you a little bit more insight on his background.
Yeah.
So it's about his life and growing up and everything? Okay.
Yeah.
And he really came from nothing.
Came from nothing.
Right.
It just goes to show you that, God and hard work and grit, you can accomplish things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the Vice President of the United States.
Yeah. American dream is still alive.
I like him. I worry though that he has a little bit of an establishment undertone, right? He had the Hollywood book turned into a Hollywood movie. He went to Yale. He served in the military.
Peter Thiel's a big backer of
yes,
it too.
Peter Thiel's a big backer.
Yeah.
He's this first-time senator. Barack Obama was a first-time senator when he got elected.
Yeah.
So I would have personally liked to see somebody with the anti-establishment. I'm not saying JD's not, but there is something that's kind of World Economic Forum that I'm keeping my eye out for. What am I going to do if he's establishment? I don't know, but just putting it out there.
No, it's a good
He's very elegant though, and he's very sharp.
He's a great speaker. Seems like a super smart guy.
Stuff like that's important too. We need to critique and grill all these politicians. From Trump on down. Everyone make sure they're doing what they said they were gonna do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they work for
The
us.
left doesn't do this, in my opinion. Especially when Kamala came in, it was just she's amazing. This is great. It was what the heck just
switch
happened?
in everybody's mind.
What just
from the
happened?
most unpopular vice president
Total
to
drones.
the savior.
Zombies.
And the subversion of
what is
democracy.
going on?
Speaking of investigating, what is that Trump said recently about her donor money?
Yeah.
it's 20 million in debt after
Yeah.
$1 billion,
And
right?
he was like, well, if you investigate it and we see where it went, I'll pay your debt.
right.
Oh,
Did you hear?
Yeah, I saw that
no.
tweet. Yeah.
It's crazy.
See, I love that.
Yeah,
man.
no, it's
I
hilarious.
love that.
But he wants to know where it went.
Beyonce.
Don't we all, right?
Beyonce.
He's like,
I don't know.
your donors deserve to know where it went.
Yeah.
And if there's a paper trail, I'll pay your debt.
Wow, man.
She had a
that
lot
is
of singers
awesome.
and a lot of celebrities speak, so I'm sure that costs some money.
Was this it?
Yeah, this is it.
Do we have
Now they're
Video
being
up there?
squeezed by vendors and whatever we can do to help them during this difficult period. I would strongly recommend we as a party and for the sake of desperately needed unity do. We have a lot of money left over and that our biggest asset in the campaign was earned media and that doesn't cost very much. Make America great
There you
again.
go. Yeah.
So he's basically offering, and after where the money went, he's basically saying, we'll cover that 20 million. We need to bring this party together because
Wow.
she's still reaching out to donors
Yeah. She's
for
still asking
money.
for money.
really?
Yes, to cover that 20 million in debt.
Wow.
She spent $1 billion.
I
And
saw that.
She
yeah.
didn't spend it. The machine
$1
spent $1
billion
billion.
on
That's
campaign.
crazy.
Dude, that is crazy.
She didn't even make it in the
That's
initial
inflation,
primary when
Yeah.
Biden was running. She didn't even make it as far as Buttigieg. Okay, she was
Right.
that unpopular. She didn't make it to the debate. And then no primary. She's now the sole candidate
Right.
for president of the United States. And they're going around preaching about Donald Trump's going to subvert democracy.
Yeah.
Yep.
That
What
was
are you
the total
talking
subversion
about?
of
Talk to me
democracy.
more about democracy.
If I was a
Totally.
voter and I was going to vote for the Democrats, I'd be up in arms if they just put somebody in there without my say.
Yeah.
Right.
Wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Even obviously, we can say this in hindsight, but a lot of people thought she was going to be very strong. But I mean, even regardless of what you want to say about Hillary Clinton, she was scary.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
Kamala wasn't very scary. It's like, I don't know if I want you dealing with world leaders. You're not even scary. You
Yeah,
know?
no,
I
that's-
did not like Hillary Clinton, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
She
she's
had
a war
power,
hawk.
you know
She's
what I
a
mean?
war hawk for sure.
Yeah, she had power.
Wouldn't hesitate to drop
Kamala,
bombs on
not
people.
so much. Not so much.
Yeah.
Nope.
Man,
And
we
you
are
gotta
entering-
need, and especially in these in this day and age where you got China and Russia and everything. I mean, obviously that's always been the case, but we need people who are
Yeah.
strong. You know, it's a dangerous
Fight.
world.
Fight.
It's not joy. It's
Yeah.
not all joy and
no,
no,
not at all.
no.
That's what I tell my kids too. It's like when you're the best at something, there's
Yeah.
always going to be somebody there to bring you down. So
Yeah.
that's where
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
important with Jordan Peterson's line of they're vulnerable, make them strong,
Yeah,
right? So if we're the best country in the world, there's always going to be somebody looking to bring us down. And we have to strength through peace,
Yeah.
peace through strength, like Trump
Yeah.
says. And so it's very important. And I think one side forgets that. Like, yes, we would love to live in a world of peace and unity and free love and all this stuff. It's just not a reality when you have the Putins and the Xi Jinpings and
No,
the Kim
it's
Jong Uns
not
of
a
the
reality
world.
at all.
yeah. But also,
Since the beginning of time.
you wouldn't get to see, if it was just. That's the reason why heaven's heaven, this is not, is
Mhm.
because these, here on earth, you get to see, strength manifested because there are these weights and you're tested and you're measured. I think that's important. That's what we're supposed to, that's our free will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
This world was created, I think, for that purpose. It makes us better. We're supposed to go through these struggles to
Oh, you have to.
achieve.
You have to.
Grace and everything else. And
Yeah. How do you
if
learn?
it was just easy, then what? Then there wouldn't be any point to it.
Yeah. We all learn the most by suffering.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the harder the
You really
suffering,
do.
the better the lesson. And that's an important part of life. You
Yes.
nailed it. Yeah.
Talk about things to teach kids too. I think that's the biggest one is man,
Right.
you need to suffer a little bit.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, right? It's you need to do things that are harder. It's
Yeah.
going to make you stronger.
Yes.
And that's the thing. I mean, I have to tell myself that a lot, man. I'm like, okay, all right, God, this is an opportunity where I can truly lean on you and where I
Mhm.
can truly show my faith in you. It
Mm.
sucks. Everything about it sucks right now, but
Mm.
I'm just going to put my faith in that.
Wow.
And I've had to do that. And dude, anytime that I've done that, it's been
Mm.
dramatic in my own life.
Mhm.
I've seen such a change. I've heard the voice of God. I've heard the voice of the
Mhm.
Holy Spirit. It's amazing. But man, you have to really work hard in order to get a mindset like that.
Mhm.
It doesn't just come.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean?
You have to be
It's the
intentional
hardest
about
thing.
that. For
You
sure.
really do. And you just got to be practicing every day.
That was one of my. I was at a carnival the other day, and my kid really wanted a goldfish. There was this gold, and I was like, "He's just. I don't think he's ready for that because we're gonna have it for
Yeah.
2 days, and
Yeah.
then it's gonna die, and
Flush
then
that thing down the toilet.
But eventually, it's that's a very small thing, but it's like,
No,
you're
totally.
gonna cry. He's gonna, it's gonna,
Yeah.
For a
stuff
kid, that's
like
a
that.
huge thing.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
That's the thing. And I think like understanding too, like how they're looking at it.
Yeah.
But man, like having kids has like made me see.
I want to protect him from everything.
Yes, of course. But like having kids has made me see like the role that God plays in our life,
Mhm.
right? So much more. Like
Yeah.
it just magnifies it like crazy.
That's exact. And that's kind of what you were saying as well, where God does not coddle us and baby us and
No.
protect us from everything.
No.
Just as you wouldn't do that to your
Sure,
son.
sure. But there is times that he does,
Yeah.
right? There is times that he offers us mercy and protection when, we obviously don't deserve it. But there's times you're right that he doesn't. And it's like, those are the times he obviously knows us. And he's like, hey, look, I could bring you out of this,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
go through it and it's going to suck.
Yeah.
But it's going to make you better.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
it's tough.
I
but-
mean, yeah, and what we were talking about earlier, like you asked, like, well, like what do you do to protect the home, right? Well, because the enemy, he hates the family, right?
Yes.
yeah.
He attacks the marriage and he attacks the children.
Yeah.
That's like his barrier to entry, right? So it starts with us again. Being able to protect the kids, and we could do that with like a quadruple effect of always staying in God's word.
Yeah.
Staying in prayer, staying in community, being yoked with like-minded individuals, and then serving others.
I agree with that. And one of the big things with this whole like toxic masculinity and all that kind of stuff, we need brotherhood
We
groups
need
again.
strong
All the
Christian men.
I'm not saying like men's clubs or whatever, but like we've
No.
lost a lot of that.
Yeah.
I think.
It's okay
You
to
know?
say strong Christian men
Yeah.
create strong families.
Yeah, because I feel like women don't. That's not a problem with women. They still have their women, groups and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Still is
Yeah.
that's looked positively on by media and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
like anytime a group of men get together, it's like this is a
Oh, it's really
toxic-
dangerous.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, man, let's, I think on that note, we should wrap it.
Let's do it.
Man, thank you guys so much for watching. Mason, thank you, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Thank you
awesome,
so
man.
much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Check them out. Social Order. Check us out at Countercause. Follow us on Instagram. Follow this guy on Instagram. If you like this video, please subscribe, share with a friend, and we'll see you guys on the next one.